Alright guys, I just got sent the funniest share video from Nappy Moistress. And it was Laverne 1977. Her husband was talking about how they had just came from church. And I guess somebody messed up the song, "What do you know about my Jesus?" And the answer is supposed to be "He's alright." And instead the words were, "What's the matter with Jesus?" And everybody was lost and confused. And after I regained my composure and finished listening to the rest of the video, watching the rest of the video, I figured I'd come on here and share, because he said, if you know someone in church that could just totally mess up a song, no matter what it was, for whatever reason, to share that information. Now, this is from the time that I started singing in what our church calls our very youth choir, the Buzz of Promise. Her name is Miss Mixon, and that woman can mess up any church song. I mean, no matter what. It could be Amazing Grace, and she would just destroy it. And the way that she would do it is that, you know how every song does not require a high-pitched note to be held or to be given. I mean, sometimes you could be singing a church song and you can have a "oh" moment, but that is not what she does. She could sing Amazing Grace just like this. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound. And after sound, instead of going right to that saved a wretch like me, we would get a high-pitched scream out of nowhere that if you were asleep down in the congregation, you weren't anymore. I mean, that is how she could totally just ruin a song. Oh my gosh, my grandmother used to sing a song, I left my sins behind, down by the riverside. And it's kind of an upbeat song, and my grandmother sang it for a while until the reins were toned over to me when I got to the young adult choir. And this song it was pretty easy. I left my sins behind, down by the riverside. I left my sins behind, down at the riverside. One Sunday morning he dipped me in the water. Heaven gave the news and God gave the order. I left all of my sins down by the riverside. Now, after that, the only person singing is supposed to be the person delivering the, "You know the saints of God." And then the rest of the choir would answer, "They were standing all around." And I would say, "And the Holy Ghost." And the rest of the choir would say, "It was everywhere." And before I could get to "everybody was a singing and a shouting," Miss Mixon would come out of her mouth with, "Ah!" Out of nowhere, off cue, not called for, and nowhere in the song. I mean, the highest note is, "I left." That's it. That's the highest note in the entire song. And she was just off note, off pitch, off tone. I swear, I believe the woman was tone deaf. I mean, she's still alive, so I'm not speaking ill of her. I mean, oh Lord, every song, every single song. And you could leave church with a headache. And my grandmother, she never spoke bad about anybody, ever. Well, my mom's mother anyway. She never spoke bad about anybody a day in her life. And every time that woman came out of her mouth with that off pitch, off note, uncalled for, "Ah!" my grandmother would stop singing and look at her and just shake her head. And I would try not to laugh. I mean, I'm hoping it would be on a day where, the youth choir didn't have to sing with the adult choir, because Miss Mixon was on the adult choir. And I just prayed for the third Sunday of the month where it was just the Buzz of Promise and the young adults, and they both sang, and the adult choir was not there, because then I did not have Miss Mixon making this offbeat note just out of anywhere. It was horrible. It was horrible. And my brother used to go to church with us, and he would, every time he heard it, he'd go, "There she goes. She wants to be an opera star. There she goes." Oh my goodness. I had to share that, because it's not just wrong words. You know, sometimes it's wrong words. Oh, my mother was good for that. My mother would know the words to a song and just put her own little words in there. I mean, just add words to it. I mean, except the song that I sang on YouTube not too long ago, the "I'll Never Pass This Way Again." Besides that one, my mother could sing "His Eye is on the Sparrow." And one day she was singing it in church, and she said, "His eye is on the marrow." Yeah, you heard me, marrow. MARROW. Like the kind that's inside of our bones and chicken bones and neck bones and bones. And she said marrow. And everybody in the church caught it. And she got teased so bad about it that she didn't go to church for 2 weeks straight from embarrassment. And it was like, wow. So it's not just you or your church. It's everybody. There's got to be somebody everywhere. All right, I figured I'd share. Later, guys.